We will jump in here. I have to remember how to do these. It seems like it's been a moment or two since we've had a briefing. I've been traveling more than I'd like to, but there's some really good things happening in our community, and we'll be making some surprising announcements very soon on some of the good news that we've been working on. So that's just a teaser to come back next week. More to follow. And so I want to welcome you all here. We are halfway through summer already. Unbelievable. Somebody reminded me that our pool season only has about another month left on it. Maybe not quite a month left on it. So that's, time flies, I guess, when you're having fun. But I want to give everyone an update today on the Say Yes program that was instituted for this summer, specifically for some disadvantaged youth. And so the city started out dedicating some of the Hyatt proceeds from the sale that we had to transit. And from that, our incredibly talented people at Transit have come up with a great way to capitalize on some of those funds, and it's working very well. And I've got some numbers to share with you before I bring Steve and Nate up here to talk a little bit. But we announced in early June that the city is going to provide a package of youth enrichment summer activities, including free bus rides that will run through August 31st, free access to public swimming pools, free golf, and free foot golf at Clapp Golf Course, free lunches, and a forgiveness of outstanding library fees to encourage reading. The program called Say Yes is a collaboration between the Wichita Public Library, Wichita Transit, Wichita Park and Rec, and our Housing and Community Services. And I see that we have John Hall back there in case we need to call on him today too. Say Yes is available for area youth from ages 7 through 17 at no cost. I guess that's why we call it free. So we've seen a large number of area youth interested in this so far. We've issued 673 bus passes between June 8th and June 30th, and 180 additional bus passes were issued in July for these youth. This resulted in 1,900 total bus rides for the Say Yes members in June. We have an average daily ridership of 89 youth during the week. We had 702 visitors to our public pools. 39 youth have obtained the restart on the book borrowing privileges from the library. So there's still some time to sign up for those interested young people who have not already done so. The program's working. You can contact Park and Rec at 268-4628 for more information. Now let's talk a little bit about point-to-point, and I'm going to invite Steve Spade and Nate to come up to the podium and talk about a very innovative way of fighting food deserts in our community. So Steve, why don't I just hand it over to you and let you share your innovative idea, or maybe Nate's idea, I don't know which one. Come on up.
Thank you, Mayor. If I could, before I talk about point-to-point, just follow up a little bit on the YES program. I want to shout out to the Housing Department, who really were a major catalyst in making sure this program happens. We knew that there are disadvantaged youth in the community that need access to different activities and services, and a lot of the reason for this program was to reach out and give those youth access. Also, housing committed funds to make sure that this program would be possible. So without John Hall and his folks, we really wouldn't see the success that the program's seeing. So we thank them for the partnership. Again, to maybe echo the comments that the mayor made, with the allocation of the Hyatt funds, we were challenged to try to develop new partnerships and new services in the community that think outside the box. They're not just the big bus running up and down the street, but it's something that's more tailored for people. the idea was then to start to bring more value and generate more ridership. And I think the YES program and the partnership with housing and parks and the library is an example of that. The point-to-point service is another example of how we're trying to reach out and do things a little differently. What this will be is a demand response service that will reach to people in certain neighborhoods and provide them with a door-to-door service to take them shopping. Some people can't rely on fixed route service in order to go shopping. So either because they can't walk to a bus stop, or maybe because they can't deal with the large number of bags that you have when you get shopping. So the point-to-point service is this pilot project has identified a neighborhood in the northeast side of town that's bordered by Oliver on the east, Grove on the west, 9th Street on the south, and 21st on the north. Residents of that corridor in that area can call us and reserve a trip on one of our paratransit vehicles. That we'll then schedule a trip that will take people in a group to a local store to do their shopping and then bring them home at an appointed time. The advantage is that it's a service that anybody can use, the general public can call, they can get a ride on this that we can then work around and make sure that we're carrying people in groups as opposed to individual people having to catch the bus. We then can give them a little more personalized service by giving them door-to-door service from their home to the store and from the store back. The cost for the service is $5. And what we're asking people to do is call ahead. They can then reserve a trip, and based on how many people reserve trips, then we'll allocate a vehicle that meets that demand. So now we don't need to run a big bus around up and down the street. We simply, if we have 3 people that make a reservation for this Saturday, we'll send a paratransit vehicle. If we have 12 people that make a reservation, then we'll work the schedule so that paratransit vehicle can make 2 trips instead of 1, and we're carrying larger groups of people, but only need employees to drive buses when we have demand. Or if on a particular Saturday nobody wants to go shopping, then we don't run the bus. So it's we think a cost-effective way of providing the service. The service starts this Saturday. People can call our office to reserve a trip today or first thing tomorrow. Then we'll schedule the trips, and then we'll provide the service on this coming Saturday. We will then schedule subsequent Saturdays throughout August and September as part of this pilot, gather feedback, and then take a look at how this might work on an ongoing basis. People can, I just got to look at the number, make sure I get it right. People can call us to reserve a trip at 352-4828. Thanks.
Steve, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That is really awesome news. I was just talking to a group of business leaders yesterday at a function that I was at and talking about innovation and imagination. And we often find that our entrepreneur folks in this city use innovation and imagination. And we have found that almost commonplace for startup companies and others that thrive in this Wichita area. I think now we can show that we have that same talent and mindset that's working right in government. And so I think that is awesome, Mr. Spade. I appreciate the innovative solutions that you guys are looking at doing to fix our community's needs. And so talking about another terrific collaboration and program that Transit has started earlier this year that collaborated with area businesses to help fund a big portion of this, and that's the trolley service that we have started up this summer. It's a service that has had overwhelmingly positive response. The Q-Line is what we're talking about, and since its unveiling and its new lunchtime routes and evening and weekend extended routes and extended hours, it's had an overall ridership increase of 1,326%. That's a big number. During its first month, ridership grew to 1,400 rides. In April, it grew to 5,680 rides. In June, ridership grew to more than 12,134 rides. This is also the first year the Q-Line provided service during Riverfest. We had over 5,600 rides. Average weekday ridership is 199. Average Saturday ridership is 1,053 with an upward trend. This continues to be a popular program, which of course is funded through a public-private partnership of dedicated local businesses and organizations that have helped this expansion come to fruition. I urge you to try the Q-Line. Again, it's free, it's air-conditioned, better than probably some cars, and it's fun. So jump on there. It's a program that has seen a lot of success, and again, thank you to Transit for coming up with solutions that make a difference. And so we appreciate that. And finally, I want to encourage everyone to come out to a special meeting, July 20th at 6 p.m., the council chambers here at City Hall. We will be having a opportunity for you to hear the budget. The city manager is with us. I'm sure that he will make it entertaining and very revealing. And this may be one of the few times we have held at the council level a citywide meeting in the evening to review the budget. Would remind people that you can also hear the budget at all of the area district advisory boards, and I think that's been underway. You've given a couple of them probably already, but so there's multiple evening events that you can be present at to hear our budget. But on the 20th, you can come out to City Hall at 6 p.m. and that meeting's solely going to focus on the budget as we work our way through that process. We think the evening meeting will make it easier for some residents to attend. The proposed budget is the only item on the agenda that night. So encourage you to come out. The second public hearing will be during the City Council meeting on Tuesday, August the 1st. At our final public hearing and adoption of the budget will be on Tuesday, August the 8th. Both of these public hearings and the adoption of the budget will occur during the regular scheduled City Council meeting. So the only full evening meeting with the council present will be the 20th. But again, you can have an evening meeting with the district advisory boards to boot. To date, citizen engagement has included social media town hall events, the DAB meetings, as I mentioned. The 2018-2019 proposed budget will be posted online in advance of the meeting next Tuesday. I encourage residents to attend the special meeting next Thursday in order to provide feedback, particularly on key proposals in the budget, such as funding the implementation of the first phase of the police staffing study. And so we will go through that in detail. So that wraps it up. In case there's any questions, or did I miss anything that Nate needed to cover?
Nate's going to talk about QLine Services during his session.
I missed that. Nate, why don't you come back up here and talk about the QLine Services? I apologize. And then John Hall, did you have something you wanted to add? City manager wants to add. We've got them lined up. So Nate, John Hall, and then the city manager.
If I could actually, while you're still at the podium, I just wanted to remind you on the 20th, you're also going to talk about the capital improvement program.
Correct. So on the 20th budget hearing, not only will we be talking about the proposed budget for next year, we'll be talking about our capital improvement plan, which will be wrapped into that budget. We now review our capital improvement plan every year. We used to have a cycle that was extended out further than that. Now we do a full review every year, and it's pretty extensive. So thank you. So Nate, I'm going to let you visit a little bit about the Q-Line, and I apologize for jumping over you.
No problem. Thank you, Mayor. As you mentioned, we're excited about the new QLine service. We've had tremendous response from the public, residents, visitors using the Q-Line. Our existing service provides service from Delano to the west all the way through College Hill to the east. And we're excited to announce some enhancements for Intrust Bank Arena events. Just in the next week, we have 2 major concerts coming up. We have Neil Diamond this Friday and Paul McCartney next Wednesday. And for that, we're providing an enhanced service with express service along with a park and ride to the event. This will allow anybody to park along Douglas or travel from the hotels on our regular routes. And we'll also have designated parking lot routes for Neil Diamond at Exploration Place and for Paul McCartney at Lawrence Dumont Stadium. From those lots, we'll have service to the regular routes with a designated drop-off of Douglas and St. Francis. The arena is just a short block or 2 walk to the south from there. And following events, we'll have an express service from the transit center located just across the street from the arena that will take the concert goers back to the designated parking lot routes, or they can also use the trolley service at Douglas and St. Francis. So we'll continue to provide extended service to Intrust Bank Arena events depending on the crowds expected. And we invite everybody to ride the Q. It's free, it's quick, it's easy. As Mayor noted, it's air-conditioned, so it's a nice, comfortable ride. Avoid the parking hassles with the arena, and enjoy the Q-Line. Thank you.
Good job, Nate. Thank you. That's excellent. Appreciate it. And next, John Hall's going to fill in some gaps that I missed, I'm sure. So, John, why don't I turn the podium over to you, our housing director.
Thank you, Mayor Longwell, and good morning to everyone. I'm John Hall with the Department of Housing and Community Services, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to highlight some additional features of our Say Yes initiative. The Yes is Youth Enrichment Services. It is open to all youth from the ages of 7 to 17, and specifically the Housing and Community Services Department, in addition to being the fiscal conduit, which we received a grant from the National League of Cities as well as Walmart Foundation to offer and address child hunger needs throughout the community. As you may know, the state of Kansas has ranked 50th in meeting child hunger needs in the summertime. And so here in Wichita, we have 30,000 youth who are determined to be food insecure. And we have 44 sites that are open throughout the city to help youth meet or address those hunger issues. And the transportation component with the Say Yes is allowing that access to those meal sites. We, the city, also are a sponsor of one site. So there are 45 sites total available for youth throughout the city that are open through July 28th. And I am happy to report that we have moved up in the rankings. We are now 45th in the nation in meeting child hunger needs. And so with our efforts, we will continue to rise in those rankings and make sure that the 30,000 youth who are food insecure in the Wichita area, that we are doing all that we can to address their hunger needs. With that, I'll turn it back over to Mayor Longwell. Thank you.
Good stuff, John. Another great example of how we are being innovative in ways to meet the needs of our community. So that is tremendous work. We appreciate it. So at that point, we'll open it up, see if there's any questions. We appreciate you all coming today, and stay tuned. We've got some exciting news that we're going to break here, hopefully within the next week or so. And I don't know that we're going to lead it out with any kind of pre-information. We want it to be pretty special and a little bit of a surprise. So we appreciate you being here.